Am I audible? If someone can just send me a thumbs up so that I can know. Yeah, am I visible and am I audible? Okay, so I think then we can start. A very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in. And I take this opportunity to thank Virtual Lawyer and especially Janvi for organizing all this. Thank you so much, Janvi. So our topic today is medical negligence. As we all know, medical negligence, so going by the definition of what is medical negligence, the medical negligence is omission to do something which a reasonable man would do, or doing something which a prudent and reasonable man would not do. So if we divide this medical negligence definition into 4 parts, it gives us the elements of negligence. How do you prove medical negligence in court? So the elements of medical negligence are 4. First is that there is a duty of care. So when the patient comes to the doctor, he comes to you and you have a duty to treat the patient. Second, there is a breach of duty by you and the standard protocols are not being followed by the doctor. So that will also constitute medical negligence. The third part is, yes, there was a duty, yes, there was a breach, but sometimes it happens that there is no sufferable injury by the patient. So, along with the duty of care, the breach, there has to be a comprehensible injury that is caused to the patient. So, if there is no injury, there is no medical negligence. And the fourth part is that this injury must have been caused by the substandard conduct of the physician. Sometimes it does happen in a case, in a patient and doctor relationship, that though there was an injury, but somehow it cannot be proved that it was caused by the substandard conduct of the physician, or the physician did not follow the standard guidelines which are there in the literature. As we move forward, we must know that there is a difference between medical negligence and error of judgment. So many times in court, we are stuck with this problem that we're not able to prove it is medical negligence because the judges are of the opinion that this is not negligence but error of judgment. So let's first understand what is error of judgment. It's a very thin line between medical negligence and error of judgment. So at times, a professional or a doctor is confronted with making a choice between the devil and the deep sea, and he has to choose the lesser evil. He has to choose which treatment module he has to follow. For example, there is a procedure which involves higher element of risk but greater chance of success. And then there's another procedure which involves lesser risk but greater chances of failure. So now the doctor has to decide which procedure he has to undertake. Sometimes it happens that he chooses to go for a procedure which has a lesser risk but a greater chance of failure, and the doctor fails. But then you cannot consider this as a medical negligence. How will you prove it? We will prove it that he took this decision for going for this procedure, but he took all the medical care that was required for him to take. He followed all the medical protocols. He followed all the pros and cons. He took a valid consent, and then he took this decision. So if the patient, he's told patient that these are the pros and cons, and after that the patient takes this decision to go with procedure A and not with B, then you cannot say that this is medical negligence. So moving forward, how do we decide? So when a patient comes to you and says, sir, these are my medical records, and I feel that there is a negligence that has happened on the part of the doctor, and I want to file a case. So how do you decide to file a case? So my advice is the patient or the patient's attendant will only bring to you the reports and the discharge summaries, because this is the normal protocol of any hospital. When the patient is getting discharged, they just give the discharge summary and the reports. But please do not decide to file a case on the basis of the reports and the discharge summaries. So please tell your client to first get all the medical records. All the medical records will include the reports, the discharge summaries, the doctor notes, the nurse's chart. But sometimes we are stuck, how do we get it from the hospital? So according to section 1.3.2 of Indian Medical Council Professional Conduct, Etiquettes and Ethics Regulation 2002, which is also called IMC regulation, a patient or the legal heir of the patient can make a written application, can file a written application to the hospital, to the doctor, to the clinic, and ask for the medical records of the patient. This will include the entire medical records, the proper attested one by the medical superintendent. And it is the duty of every hospital, doctor or clinic to provide the medical records within 72 hours of making this application. So please make sure before you decide to file a case or send a legal notice, you must have all these papers in front of you. Do some research on medical literature, because it's a niche field for the lawyer. He or she doesn't know the medical part of it. So please go through the medical literature. Please go through the judgments that have been there, because medical negligence is a law that has evolved through judgments. So at the end of my webinar, I'll give you the list of judgments which every lawyer should go through if they want to understand what medical negligence is. So you can file a complaint at state. You can also file a case at consumer court, or if also file an FIR under section 304A. So these are three routes that you can take. You can first go to the State Medical Council. Simultaneously, you can also move to the consumer court, and then the criminal part of it, you can file an FIR. So when you go to the consumer court, there is an hierarchy that is followed. So if the compensation, now obviously this compensation has changed after the amendment, 2019 amendment of Consumer Protection Act. The earlier one was, so if your compensation is not exceeding 20 lakhs, you decide to go to district forum. If your compensation asked is between 20 lakhs but not exceeding 1 crore, you go to state commission. And third, if your compensation is exceeding 1 crore, you decide to go to National Commission. The appeal of, as we all know, the appeal of against the order of the district forum lies in State Commission, and same the appeal against the order of the State Commission lies to National Commission, and the appeal against the orders of National Commission lie at all the courts. But then how do you decide you want to file a case for 20 lakhs? So there is no straight-jacketed formula, unlike in MACT matters where there is a calculation based on which the compensation. What was the amount that the patient mental agony plus the income of the patient, if he or she would have lived toward, you decide the compensation. Now when you go, so this is one part of it, the consumer courts. Now when you decide to go to the State Medical Council, so in State Medical Council you will have an ethics committee of the doctors which will decide the case, but the State Medical Council do not have the power to give you any negligence. They can debar the doctor from practicing, so they can remove or they can struck out the name of the doctor from the State Medical Council register. So once a complaint is filed under section 8.2 of again the IMC regulations, there is an ethics committee that sits and decides whether there is a negligence, and they ask for the written statement of the doctors, and based on that they give their order. In case the party are not satisfied with the order of the State Medical Council, they can appeal in Medical Council of India under section 8.8 of IMC regulation 2002. So this is the hierarchy which is followed in the State Medical Councils and Medical Council of India. Then again, the third part is, if you see that there is a death that has taken place, then you can file an FIR. The criminal trial will take place, and then the case will move on. So these are the three things. So this is from the point of view of a patient. Now we can just discuss what to do. How do you decide whether there is medical negligence? Have all the medical records. Sometimes the doctors are hesitant in giving the medical records because they feel that please tell the doctor to give you some medical literature. So in my career, I have seen that it is easy to defend a doctor rather than file a case from the point of view of a patient, because patients do not know many things. They do not know what the medical literature is, do not understand the medical science as good as a doctor does. So always tell your doctor to give the medical records and the medical literature according to what has happened. And please understand, in consumer courts, there is no cross-examination of the doctor. So documentation is the only thing by which you can prove medical negligence, or in front of you without any alterations, so that it is easier for you to defend the doctor. So because there is no cross-examination, sometimes it becomes very difficult for the patient or for your client to prove that there was medical negligence on the part of the doctor. Okay, so moving forward, now there are some judgments which probably all of us should go through if you want to handle a medical negligence case. I'm just giving a brief of all those judgments. I'll give you the citation also, so it is easier for you to make out. So the first case in this is Indian Medical Association versus VP Shanta and others. This is 1995 6 SCC 651. I'll just repeat the citation in case you are noting it down. Indian Medical Association versus VP Shanta and others, 1995 6 SCC 651. So now this was the judgment according to which the medical profession came under the purview of Consumer Protection Act. Before this judgment, or before the Consumer Protection Act, the patient had only two options to go to, either to the State Medical Council or go straight away to the criminal part of it. After this, the judges decided that medical negligence should come under the purview of Consumer Protection Act. So if you will go through this judgment, it is very beautifully told that what is the meaning of contract of service, what is the meaning of contract for service, and why medical professions should be under the purview of Consumer Protection Act. Okay, somebody is asking me the name. I'll just repeat the name. It is Indian Medical Association versus VP Shanta and others. Moving forward, the next case is Dr. Parmanand Katara versus Union of India, 1989 4 SCC 286. So this is another judgment which will tell you what is medical negligence. So when we go through the judgment, we come to know that or the law, the highest degree of medical care from any professional. It is always the reasonable care that is expected out of a doctor. And this is what is the definition of medical negligence, and that there was the highest degree of care that was taken by my doctor, It is only a reasonable and expected degree of skill and care that is supposed to be taken by the doctor. Moving forward, now this is a very famous judgment. Samira Kohli versus Dr. Prabha Manchanda and another. This is 2008 to SCC 1. This is a very beautiful judgment if somebody wants to know the importance of consents in medical negligence. So taking consent is a very important procedure. It is not just a formality that the doctor takes signatures on the consent form and it is done. So consent forms are taken very seriously by the court. They go through each and every line of the consent. Nowadays, it is a next step which is called informed consent. First, so this judgment will also tell you what is real consent and what is informed consent. So informed consent nowadays is that you have to sit with the patient, you have to tell the pros and cons of the prognosis that you have taken, you have to tell the diagnosis which will be done, and the prognosis. So diagnosis is basically the test which you carry on, and prognosis is basically the treatment which you will do with the patient. So after knowing the pros and cons, because it is the body of the patient has the right to take the decision whether he wants to go with this treatment or not. I'll take the questions at the end. I can see some questions coming in, but I'll take all of them at the end. So moving forward, the next judgment is Jacob Matthew versus State of Punjab and others. This is 2005, 6 SCC 1. This is also a very important judgment because this judgment very beautifully describes what is medical negligence. Again speaking, nobody is trying to prove that your doctor had to take a highest degree of care. It is only the reasonable degree of care that's important. Moving forward, next is Kusum Sharma and others versus Batra Hospital and Medical Research Center and others. This is 2010, 3 SCC 480. All these judgments will again tell you how medical negligence law. And the next, which is a very recent one, is SK Jhunjhunwala versus Dhanvanti Kaur and others. This is 2019 to SCC 282. This also contains the difference between error of judgment and medical negligence. So Kusum Sharma judgment also, which I just mentioned, it also tells you the difference between error of judgment and medical negligence. So these are just some of those judgments which will help you understand medical negligence. In Kusum Sharma case, it was held that they'll tell you what is an error of judgment. They will tell you that at times a professional, I've already told it, but I'm just reiterating it, probably for those people who have joined late. So at times a professional or a doctor is confronted with making a choice between the devil and the deep sea. So if he chooses devil, what are the pros and cons? And if he chooses deep sea, what are the pros and cons? And how can you differentiate between error of judgment and medical negligence? So please make sure that once you have all the medical records in front of you, including the medical literature, see that it should not be an error of judgment, and all the elements of medical negligence should be present in the case before you decide to go for a legal notice or to file a case. Because I have always been on the side of doctors, and it is very disheartening for the doctors to see a case in which they have put in a lot of efforts. They have put in probably their best. So I've come across doctors saying that I have helped this patient financially also. And the same patient then files a case of medical negligence against the same doctor. So the doctors are very, very disheartened, and at this point of time, as medical negligence cases are increasing, please believe me, doctors are scared. They are scared to go to courts. They are scared of lawyers. So I happen to be a retainer in one of the hospitals. So my doctors tell me, Mansi, please do not come to our OPD. We get scared when I see you. So this is the kind of scare they are carrying with them. So as lawyers, we have a duty towards the medical professionals also. So please make sure you are there with them when needed. But yes, if you see that there was a commercial angle to this treatment and it has caused a great injury to the patient, then please go ahead and file the case. So I think I am done as far as medical negligence is concerned. I'll just take some questions. I can see some questions coming up. So just give me a moment. I'll just take some questions. Okay. So somebody is asking me, Daniel Dennis, ma'am, how long usually such case normally goes for? Daniel, according to Consumer Protection Act, it should take 90 days, but practically it does not take 90 days. I have seen cases being filed in the year 2000 and coming to an end in 2010. So it takes 10 years also. I have seen cases which gets completed in 1 year, 2 years. So it all depends. It all depends on case to case, how grave the matter is. So it all depends. I can't say that it will be over in 1 year or 2 years. It all depends. Okay. So moving to the next question. Tejinder Singh Saluja has asked, what if the client / patient is not satisfied with the order of MCI? Where should I challenge the order of MCI? So MCI order are challenged in High Court. You can file an appeal in High Court against the orders of MCI. Sometimes it does happen. I'll just tell you one instance that the State Medical Council struck the name of a particular doctor, and that particular order was to come in effect after 30 days of the receipt of the order by the doctor. So now in this scenario, what do? You straight away go to High Court, you file a writ and take a stay. So once you get the stay, then you have the time to file an appeal in MCI and the matter will then go on in MCI, but at least the doctor is satisfied that his or her name will not get struck from the State Medical Register. Okay. Ma'am, please repeat the last 3 judgments name. Okay. I'll just repeat the last 3. So one was Jacob Matthew versus State of Punjab and others. The other was Kusum Sharma and others versus Batra Hospital and Medical Research Center. And the third one was SK Jhunjhunwala versus Dhanwanti Kaur and others. So I think these were the last 3 which was taken up by me. Okay, moving forward. What if the hospital or doctor refuse to provide the medical record, or they manipulate few documents or some documents are missing? So in this case, so this is being asked by Nihit. You can file a complaint at State Medical Council, and the State Medical Council can always direct the hospital to give the medical records, or you can also go to the Consumer Court and the Consumer Court can direct them to give you a copy of the medical records. So, or they manipulate few documents or some documents are missing. There is a manipulation and you are from the patient side, it is good for you. So if you are able to prove in the court that there was a manipulation that was being done by the hospital will have to pay the price for it. Can you please tell all the acts names which will be useful for us to refer? So first of all, please go through the Indian Medical Council Regulations 2002. So that will tell you. So this will tell you, and the other Consumer Protection Act you will have to read. Okay, moving forward. What if defense lawyer lie In providing DNA report, hospitals altered report against prosecutor. Okay, so there is always an option of getting any of the state government hospitals. State Medical Council order against you and Medical Council of India order against you, you can still file an application for an expert opinion, and then the judges can refer the matter to the state government hospitals, and you can get an expert opinion. That will be an independent expert opinion that you can get from the hospital. Ma'am, if a patient had suffered an injury which could cause death and the doctor isn't able to treat that injury because of medical negligence and that person dies, what is the liability of the doctor? If a patient had suffered an injury, so you will first have to, the burden of proof lies on the complainant, on the patient, to prove that this injury was caused due to the medical negligence of the doctor. So for this you will have to go through the medical records, which will include the doctor's records, it will include the reports, the discharge summary, the nurse's charts, everything correlated, and then only you can prove that there is a medical negligence. In case you are able to prove, yes, the doctor will be held guilty. What can doctors do? What can doctors do to ensure they have a strong defense against by any of the patients? You get a consent form signed because the doctor wants to make sure that he is not made liable for negligence. But in case the frivolous case is filed, you can always go for a defamation case, or you can, because consumer courts these days are very serious for frivolous litigation. So I have seen judges giving a compensation up to rupees 50,000 for frivolous complaints. So please make sure, I am again and again telling, please make sure that you are serious about frivolous complaints coming to the courts. As a defense counsel for the medical practitioner, what is the highest amount of compensation you have been asked to pay to the other party? See, it might, so now that the Consumer Protection Act has undergone an amendment, so the compensation that you can ask 10 crores. So I have seen cases where even the doctors are directed to submit 10 crores rupees, to give 10 crore rupees to the patient. So there is no state-jacketed formula. What is the compensation? If your medical negligence is proved, if it is proved that we have forged the documents, the compensation is very high. Okay, moving forward. I myself happen to be in ICU. The doctors prescribed dialysis at 8 a.m. but the nurse did around 11 p.m. Okay, see, this can be a case of negligence when on a particular time, but the only thing is, again, you will have to go through the medical documents. The doctor must have written that, then the nurse's chart which will tell. So that is the importance of medical documents, nurses' records. You have to correlate what the doctor has written and what has the nurses actually done. So please have the nurses' records also. Sometimes it happens that the doctors or the hospitals do not give nurses' records to you. Please make sure you have the nurses' records also if you want to prove medical negligence. What would you recommend to a first generation lawyer who wants to proceed in this designated field of medical negligence? This is asked by Siddhant. Siddhant, if you ask me, this is a very interesting field. So if one wants to go into this field, read these judgments, read these acts, go through some of the medical negligence cases. If you see any other case, if you see a trademark infringement case, it is a very clear case. This is a registered trademark. This is the infringement that has taken place, and it is very easy to get the relief. So is not the case with medical negligence cases. It requires a lot of reading of the law and the medicine. So you have to know the medical terminologies also. So if you want to do this, go into this field, There is a very good postgraduate diploma course in medical law and ethics. It is there in Symbiosis also. It is there in National Law School, University Bangalore also. So please do these courses, understand how medical law works. But this is a very good field to go to. And subsequently for a month this went on. Can this come under negligence? So I think probably it is connected to that 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Yes, it can be medical negligence, but again we'll have to go through the medical records again. Ma'am, during treatment, under which law can the patient demand treatment given to the patient to take second opinion from other doctors? Please go through the Indian Medical Council regulations. Their opinion. You can always ask for this. Are also giving a general summary, not a discharge summary but a general summary for taking a second opinion. So it is open for the patient to take the second opinion. None of the doctors or the hospital can stop you from taking it, and as I said, you can have the records from the hospital by filing this application under section 1.2.3 of IMC regulations 2002. Tejinder Singh again asks, as you have mentioned that one can assail the order of MCA before High Court, but MCA in state board consists of doctors only. How High Court would... I think the question is not complete. I don't understand the question, but as far as I understand, yes, High Court do not have doctors, but then there are judges who are there to look into this. They can always take an expert opinion. The MCA can only be appealed in Delhi High Court, so in High Court, so you'll have to go to High Court for doing it. No ma'am, if the injury was caused by a third party but the doctor did not prevent that injury due to medical negligence, which he could have had he not been negligent. See, this is very difficult to prove that this medical negligence was caused by a third party. I mean, even if the third party, you cannot hold a doctor liable if there has been a medical negligence. Okay. Am I audible at Instagram? Okay. Am I audible at Instagram? If somebody get an yes. Okay. Ma'am, if I may ask, have you been a student of such a course, degree in medical negligence? If yes, from where? Yes, I have done postgraduate diploma in medical law and ethics from Bangalore, National Law University. So I think that's the end of the questions. Okay, I'm so sorry. I think the camera is right. Okay. So I think that's the end of the questions. If any one of you wants to know anything more, I am just sharing my email ID with you. You can mail me the questions. So it is mansi.bajaj, mansi.bajaj @MB, M for Mumbai, B for Bombay, legalassociates.com. MB, LEGAL, Legal Associates, ASSOCIA. Share your queries with me. I'll be more than happy myself. Thank you. Thank you so much.